welcome to the Virtually Speaking podcast, Explore 2025, Day 3. John, how you feeling, my friend?
I just had some coffee, but if we can just replace my brain with some AI inference for a minute, that'd probably be good while it kicks in.
Yeah, we're going to work on that. We're getting close. I have to say, one of the things I'm excited about every year we come to Explore is seeing what the community is doing. I love the hackathon. I love seeing what the community is doing. And I love talking about home labs and seeing who's doing what. But this gentleman, we've spoken to him before. Nick Kuhn is back, and we're going to be talking a little bit about his lab, which is certainly among one of the more impressive ones I've seen. And we're going to get into some of the details. Nick, welcome back to Virtually Speaking.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me. And I guess we're going to talk about my home lab or home lab problem per se, and maybe some group therapy. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I have a friend. He collects bourbon. And he said to me, he goes, I don't have a drinking problem, I have a collection problem. I think it's a similar situation for you.
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
Yeah, and we're certainly going to share some of the images of this on the video. So if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, please subscribe. But if also, we'll have some of those. But if you're just listening, we're going to be leaving links in the show notes with all the photos and all that. But let's start from the very beginning.
Sure.
How did you get started in this problem?
All right, yeah. So I've been at VMware by Broadcom for about 4 years now, but before that, I was a customer, and way back when I was, what we call a VI admin, and I got the privilege of working with hardware and servers and racking and stacking and designing racks, and I really enjoy that hardware aspect.
Did you ever cut your hands on those
all the time. Bleeding thumbs.
Thumbs.
One of the, I guess, most thrilling experiences working in the data center is that we had to upgrade memory in like hundreds of hosts.
Oh.
So we bought thousands and thousands of DIMMs of memory.
I love those giant trays with the little plastic clear cover.
Yeah. And it's just sit in the data center for weeks, dropping a host into maintenance mode, powering down, racking, putting 10 more, however many more DIMMs in there.
So calming.
Yeah.
Do it in your sleep.
Yes. Yeah. But then your thumbs are they hurt so much afterwards. But yes. So that I've always enjoyed the hardware scene, so to speak. But then kind of going forward, in the more recent years, no longer being a customer, I didn't have access to, racks and racks of gear. And being in tech marketing at Tanzu, I like to run my own demos. I like to do a lot of my demos live. So I kind of like to control the environment that I'm working with so it doesn't get shut down on me or anything like that. So I started with, I'll just buy one host. One host, I can fit it all. I'll get an older HP Z440. It can run ESXi 8, which is newer, a couple years ago.
Yeah, those workstations, you can shove a lot of RAM into them.
Yeah, you can get a lot of cheap RAM, ready to go.
Not supported, but hey, it works.
Well, yeah, nothing supported here, right? But hey, it works, everything's great. And then I was like, man, I really like vSAN. I used vSAN for years. So I kind of want to run vSAN again. So now I'm gonna buy some more. Now I need networking. I got to get networking involved. I'm gonna get clustering. And then that just kind of grew, and everything was fine. I went from 1 to 7 hosts. Great. Everything's wonderful. My lab's awesome. And then I guess 2023-ish timeframe, this thing called ChatGPT came out. AI became the rave for everyone. And one of the colleagues I was working with at the time, we submitted this idea to the 2023 Explore Hackathon about a project that we were working on about integrating some of this AI technology into Tanzu Platform. And we kind of took that forward, and we got, we're fortunate enough to get first place in that hackathon. It was great, wonderful time, but we kind of turned that into a product. But in that then led my home lab growth to say, well, now I need some GPUs, and I bought a lot of GPUs.
And they're not very expensive, are they?
No, it's the cheapest part of the server, right? Yeah, exactly. So I've been doing a lot of eBay junkyard wars, looking for different. I started off with the Tesla P40s, which are at the time not too bad, but they're the older enterprise grade cards that supported the vGPU still, and you could.
You can't hold a big model in that.
Well, it depends how many you put in a box, though, right?
Fair.
Yeah. So you can get started there, and that wasn't that too expensive. But then I wanted some faster inferencing and everything like that. So then we started Tesla T4s for newer generation, and then it got to the point where the local LLM scene, which is well beyond just the Broadcom community.
Oh yeah.
The sweet spot really is the RTX 3090, right?
Yeah.
right? If
Get that extra video RAM.
Yeah, price, performance, it's got the most amount of speed, you got the VRAM you need, and it's not like $40,000 or whatever, whatever some of these enterprise cards
How much are they, honest?
So the
More or
RTX, it's before they were going for around at one point $600 used.
Wow.
Oh,
but
wow,
now,
that's actually not bad.
But now they're around that maybe 700-800 range.
Okay, they've been
so
bid up.
they kind of peaked up close to 1,000 here.
And then I think I paid
down.
$2,000 during COVID for a 3080, but that's just because I wanted to play Cyberpunk. So
yeah. So you had the COVID thing, you had the AI thing. GPUs, been crazy since. From the consumer side, it's dying down a little bit. So it's getting the supplies stabilizing, so that's good. But I think from the enterprise space, there's still very heavy demand for these high-end NVIDIA GPUs, and from AMD and Intel. Just
they had earnings today. Yes, the demand is still high. There was a beat.
So I think Jensen Huang's doing real well still, and selling those gold-plated GPUs for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So I could see as we're progressing through this story, you're going from a couple of servers to probably a much larger environment.
Yeah.
What was the next phase for you?
So I went from like 1 to 7, and then, as you said about fitting models in, I could only fit so many cards into a single HP Z440. So it's like, all right, what do I do? So then I started kind of going down the path of getting into like the super micro, like kind of modify your own pizza box, but then getting systems that had, multiple, I can support 4 dual socket or dual slot GPUs in there. So then I can put 4 Tesla P40s in a box, or 4, my latest build, I just built a system that has 4 3090s in a box. So, and that's very nice. But it's also not cheap per se, but still cheaper than.
How big a model does that hold? I mean,
it depends what quantization level you set, but you can 96 gig of VRAM. That's equivalent to like an H100. So now it's split across 4.
Yeah.
So there's a little overhead. Yeah. But depending on the inference engine, you can do some pretty cool things with it. So
you mentioned that you were you liked vSAN. Is this from your previous job?
Yeah. So I was probably one of the early adopters of vSAN back in the day. I think it was 5.5 maybe.
Oh, wow.
So it was you, me, and Mark Brookfield. So,
yeah. So 5, we were deploying it. The first build was the hybrid with, we had like SAS cache drives and, spinning disks. And then the NVMe came out, like the Intel P3700, I think. That came out. It's like, well, we should use that as a cache drive, and then use SATA SSDs as capacity.
Cheap and deep.
Yeah, we went there.
As long as it fit in cache, it screams. So.
Yeah. And then ESA. Oh man, like just single disk group. I was like,
for home lab, it's great. I'm not wasting money on a cache drive.
Yeah. So that's another reason why I did it, because it's like I haven't played with vSAN in a while. I'm seeing all this great things coming out. Like I got to get my hands on some vSAN, right? So that's another reason why I continued to build the lab out, so to speak. So.
Nice. So you built out some vSAN clusters, and you got to finally play with like vSAN ESA, which is a big difference compared to the original storage architecture.
Very cool.
Then what was the next? I know ChatGPT comes along and makes things a little bit more maybe demanding, if you will.
Yes. So then my GPU addiction turned into home lab addiction. I just try to keep running more and more models, because like where I was working with, we were testing out different models and kind of doing those inferencing models, and it's like we need more GPUs. I want to run more demos and things, and like just kept buying them, so to speak. So the thing I'm into now most is like, we'll get into like the vibe coding scene, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you
install Claude into Box.
Yeah. So
go make a sandwich. Come back. Here's my app.
Exactly. Like the cursor and the Claude are great, but like all of my a lot of my colleagues and everything, they're all kind of cycling through the trials and the subscriptions, because it's very efficient, but you can easily rack up a bill $200 or $300 a day, depending how you're doing it, and that can add up pretty quickly. So I'm working on that from a local model perspective of, hey, I've already invested in all these GPUs.
Yeah.
So I can route my API calls from my AI into you. So.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So that it's part of the Tanzu platform too, where we can broker to and route to a model and give a virtual key. So I can take those virtual keys that we have and just plug them into like Klein.
Can we throttle it so like whatever weird questions,
Yes.
about I don't know about hair products Pete has, like it's like
or
okay,
lack thereof.
no beard care, like all right,
Yeah.
Pete, you're taking up too much of the model time. We can like throttle these people or
Yes, yeah. So yeah, even in that you can do rate limiting and throttling, and we're actually introducing like webhook support. So if you have an incoming request into the model, you can maybe then make a call to like a Microsoft Presidio service or content safety services and say, hey, that call isn't safe, reject it, or you can do like a PHI reduction as well. And
okay,
then,
it looks like Pete put his social security number in there,
and then it'll blank it out. Yes, it'll blank it out before it sends it to the LLM and return it back. So from a safety perspective.
sanitization.
Yes,
Wow.
So that's another pretty cool feature we're seeing.
I mean, I was hearing about CVEs within models. I'm like, that's wild. And now we gotta do sanitization.
It's a never-ending. This AI space in general is just changing.
Oh my goodness! I feel like it's only beginning.
So I think we're just scratching the surface, and it's just changing on a day-to-day basis still. So.
Yeah, I can't imagine what your lab's going to look like next year, but certainly from what I hear, it's getting larger. And again, we'll share the images. But when did you actually start to say, this might actually be good for my work as more than just my hobby, but actually, some of my test and dev?
Yeah, so part of, the beauty of Tanzu Platform is it's this multi-tenant solution. So, I was running a lot of demos and that was doing great, but then other folks in my organization were having problems getting environments. And I was just like, well, if I just put Cloudflare in front of this thing, I can do a couple, tunnels and expose these endpoints, and then just start, giving my colleagues some orgs and spaces within Tanzu Platform or Cloud Foundry, and then they can have a space to play with, and they can just, I got plenty of capacity. They can give it a try. So that kind of progressed, and more people heard about it. Like, hey, I heard you have this sweet lab. Can I get a little bit?
It's funny how the word spreads fast.
Yeah. So I got a lot of tenants, but I like it because I used to run it as a customer, but I then now have my own little set of customers. But it's good. It's a great demo environment because we have real workload happening. And we can see, like, when I want to show graphs of observability of, like, models getting called up and down, we actually have people generating load on that. And it's hard to do that. And I just spun up this environment.
I do the same thing with my lab in Vegas. I'm like, all right, let me give access to some PMs or some people to create nested stuff just so that it creates background load.
So you get some real world type of usage on it, so it's a lot easier to show and demo, that type of thing.
Yeah, and I won't say the person who told me this, his name will remain anonymous, but I definitely got that turn. Hey, I got a guy. If you're looking and you want to spin the wheels,
I got a guy who's got some inference.
This sounds.
Yeah. So
we gotta meet a guy in Vegas. He's got some inference. He's got. We'll Venmo, trade him a banana for some APIs. I get what this is.
You'll be getting your credentials right after the show. And
So, where are we as of today? Where is this lab, as we land this plane of a discussion, like where is this addiction, current day?
Yeah, so currently I'm at 16 hosts. I've got a few more to build still. I'm trying to onboard another quad 3090 system. So
an additional quad 3090.
You've saturated the existing one.
Well, one model. So on that, I loaded the latest, GPT OSS, the latest open source model from OpenAI. So it's a GPT OSS 120B. Boom! Like that host is gone. It's done.
It's working.
Yeah, it's working. So now I'm like, I want a big DevStroll model or something like that to really enhance my vibe coding scene. So maybe that will be my next project.
I love it. Well, it's pretty exciting, man. It's a lot. I can see how this can quickly become, a problem, if you will.
Yes.
But I would say, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, very much so.
Man, Nick, thanks so much for sharing your lab and your pictures and your blog and honestly your podcast. For those that don't know or didn't listen earlier, he runs a podcast that talks all about Tanzu. It's Cloud Foundry Weekly. So be sure to subscribe to that as well. Nick, thanks for joining us on Virtually Speaking.
All right, thanks so much for having me.
All right.